Hello, hello, check, check. How's my sound? How's my lighting? How's my hat hair and the jewelry and all the rest of it? I don't have anybody here yet. I'm just talking to myself, but that's all right. That's what this is all about. So, I actually just came on to have a kind of small ish discussion about this insanity. Kind of like dejected and the whole thing with the freaking tariffs and the stock market, and then yesterday with the rumor that went around that they were going to postpone the tariff sanctions for 90 days maybe. And what was the result of that? I wrote it down. It was huge. It was crazy. It was like $4 trillion or something like that. Where did I write it down? It's hiding from me. Yeah, here it is. The market gained and lost $4 trillion on a fake social media post in a very short space of time. I'm so excited to see you, Anna Bees. How are you? How's the sound? I'm like a little puppy dog, like a golden retriever with a tennis ball. I actually wasn't sure I was going to come on live today because I just had a bunch of other business I had to take care of. And like I said, I'm just feeling kind of dejected. Like, how can we not talk about this stuff? And yet I'm just so frickin' sick of it. I said frackin'. Yeah, I said frackin'. So frackin' sick of it. Make sure that you're still subscribed if you are subscribed. And if you're not, please consider doing so. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like it. Turn on your notification bell to ring a ding ding. What else? Everything I say is simply my opinion. Oh, you're so cute. Everything looks good and your sound is good. You're awesome. Thank you, Anna Bees. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being my sound checker, my light checker. Oh, let's see. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an infotainment platform. So, yeah, I use some pictures of Mr. T in my thumbnail that I want to explain. A couple of them. A couple of them are him doing his little like hamster gerbil rodent drinking thing. Like, who the F holds their water like this? Do I look cute? OMG. And then there's the one where it looks like he is like the man without a face. It's kind of like the photograph of the guy in the back of the corner club in the Idaho 4 case. Oh, thank you, sweetie. You're so kind. You're so generous. So that one, the man without a face, I want to talk about that one for a moment. That one was at the horse races, and he's hanging out with the big E. And I don't know if he had like a veil over his face. His lips looked really chalky white. You could hardly see his red face. And I figured that he had some work done or something. But it was really weird to me that people didn't talk about it. That I thought was the weirdest. Like he said, he could pew pew somebody in broad daylight in the middle of Fifth Avenue and people would still love him and think he was innocent, right? It's insane. It's insane. It's how people are not talking about the potential illegitimacy of the whole election process is killing me. It's just ludicrous. I've been going over the last few weeks the history of the electronic election tampering. A lot of people said, "Oh no, it's not possible. These ballot boxes, these electronic ballot boxes are so secure. Not possible." Well, what about like the bomb threats and all the purging of voters? What about the numbers like in the 2000 election with Gore and Bush, where Gore's votes went down 19,000 through the night, one by one. And then I think it was like 9,000 of those showed up as Libertarian or Green Party or something, which was like way too many disproportionately. And then I think the remainder showed up in Bush's count. His supporters believe anything he says. You think, Anna Hayford Field? You are right on time. So his supporters believe anything he says. I can hardly watch this crap the last 12 hours, 24 hours. The Fox News where they're like, oh, well, so what if the market's unstable? That doesn't mean that it's going to continue to be unstable. So what if you lost some money? That builds character. And, money's just money. Money goes up, money goes down. You win some, you lose some. It's like, yeah. Uh-huh. And remember, this is the man who we can quote saying a few years ago when I think it was when Biden was in office, so it was pretty recent. He said, if the Dow goes down 1,000 points over a 48-hour period, whoever is the sitting president should be impeached. That's what the man said, who has lost how many thousands of Dow Jones points since the tariffs on Thursday night? Or was it? I think they started on Thursday. I think it was Wednesday night. And the first day, it was like almost 1,800. Friday, it was 2,200. So that was 4,000 in 48 hours. And then yesterday, I think was like 1 million. I can't keep up. I cannot keep up. And it's like not funny, but you got to laugh, right? So now, so the rigging of the votes, we all saw the crowds with Kamala's presentations when she was going out on the campaign trail, and just thousands and thousands of people. And the energy was so high. People were just euphoric. And then you had Trumpster fires, minuscule crowds where he would keep them waiting for 2 or 3 hours. So that certainly didn't help. And then they'd be leaving and it was only half full to begin with, and he'd be trying to corral everyone to one area so that they could take a picture and then make it look like there were a lot more people. And then he's accusing Kamala of doing all this like fakery, trying to make it look like she had supporters that she didn't have. So then over this past weekend on Saturday, we had the hands-off grassroots protests across the country. I've seen a number that potentially there were 5 million people out in the streets protesting, not only coast to coast, not only every state, including Alaska. I'm not sure about Hawaii, but I would think so, but also overseas. Like, when has that ever happened? But the big news right now is the fight, because the big E and his bro are really upset about the crushing of their businesses with these tariffs. And they are they're posting things completely contraindicated with what Mr. T is doing. So who's gonna dump who? Is T gonna dump E, or is E gonna dump T? I kind of think we could do a vote. If you think E's gonna dump T, put a 1 in the chat, although there's only like 3 of us here. E is gonna dump T, put a 1 in the chat. If you think the president is going to dump his IT guru, put a 2 in the chat. I'm trying to make my decision before I see any coming across the board here. I think, well, where's my crystal ball? here, I'll use this one right here. It's just glass, but we'll pretend, right? Look how cool that is. Okay, crystal ball. Who's gonna dump who? Let's see. There. That's cool, huh? Oh, I can have so much fun playing with this stuff. Okay, abracadabra. Who's dumping who? Is E gonna dump T? Is T gonna dump E? My crystal ball says El Presidente is gonna dump the South African. That's what my crystal ball says. Because you know what? E's not got so much cash no more. I mean, he never really had cash, but you know, he had all those zeros on paper or in the electronic gadgets. So now that that's going down, I mean, he's still a bazillionaire, but the tariffs will make up for it. He doesn't need T, maybe, but T needs El Presidente because he's going down. I mean, he's toxic waste. So Fred says 2 and Anna B says 1. So it's split. They're taking massive dumps. Well, you know, it's sort of like when somebody's drowning. It's really scary. You know, I've been a lifeguard, so I've gone through the training more than once. What's really, really dangerous when somebody's drowning is that they'll push your head underwater, not because they're evil, but because they're in a panic and they're gasping for air. So that's like the main thing. If you're in water where you can't touch the ground, the main thing you need to worry about is the victim drowning you. And that's kind of, I think, what's happening is they're going to pull each other down. And it's happening. I mean, I don't even know what's happened in the stocks and mayhem so far today. And it's only 3:00, right? I mean, I honestly think that Donnie is trying to burn down our nation metaphorically. I think he's trying to destroy democracy. I think he's even trying to destroy capitalism. And I think he's doing it all for his buddy, Vladdy. So, that was a joke. Remember little T saying that about taking the massive dumps? I don't remember. Was this recent or prior, a little bit back? Oh, man. They are just dumping in their own pants right in front of everyone. So another one of the photographs that I used of Mr. T, El Presidente, he's yelling and he's using his pointer finger. And man, he overuses that pointer finger so much. I've said it before. He's like Harold in the Purple Crayon. He's like every little kid once they discover the power of the pointer finger, that they point, you look and say, what is it? He's always pointing. You know, that's something with the thumbnails too in YouTube, is they tell you to use arrows on your thumbnails because it draws people in. And it does. If you notice, I don't usually use them. I only use them when there's a good reason to. But a lot of content creators use those arrows all the time, and, you know, to each their own. But that's one of the hot tips that they tell you. Just like having a plant in your set is also kind of mandatory if you want to get clicks and likes and views. I don't think I have any plants at the moment. I mean, I got all this like fake plant stuff around this plant stand. So maybe that counts. Yeah, I've got my fake little, what is that, succulents. You can't really see them because it's dark. Let's see if I put a little candle behind them. The candle's losing its power. I was at Costco yesterday and I just didn't feel like spending all that money on new batteries because, you know, each pack is like $20 and I was spending so much already. You can't go into Costco without spending $100 in a blink of an eye. And if you blink twice, it's 200. So I was trying not to blink twice because that was actually kind of one of the things I went for, was for the batteries. But the other thing, is you find stuff that you weren't expecting to find. And I'm like, oh, $20 on little toilet bowl cleaning tablets, peppermint eucalyptus flavor. Let me try that. I brought them home and said to my husband and child, like, I think they're like Tide Pods. I think you're supposed to eat them. That's how they clean your toilet. But they work. Oh my gosh, they were amazing. You throw them in the toilet bowl, they fizz. You still have to scrub, so it's not like it's self-cleaning, which is what it looks like on the packaging. But they did a great job, so I highly recommend them. And it was $20 well spent. It was worth the risk, even though we're not out of toilet bowl cleaner. It's so disgusting. Anyway, enough about that crap, right? During his loss to Biden and after it, about taking the massive dumps, what is it again? Peppermint and eucalyptus. I'll do a little ad. I'll grab the bag. It's just like this plastic bag back by the laundry detergent and dish detergent. And it's like tablets, big white tablets that you just throw in the toilet bowl, and they fizz, they dissolve in like a minute, and they do a really good job. But you do have to scrub. Like I said, it looks like when you look at the packaging that it does the scrubbing for you, but that's a dream. That's just a fantasy. It kind of tricks you into cleaning your toilet. That's what it does. So that's good. It's always good to keep those things clean, right? You can't keep them clean enough. Anyway, like I said, enough about that crap. Let's talk about there's so much to talk about. Before I forget, I think I've meant to bring it up many times, and I don't think I have. And this is insane. And maybe I did bring it up once. But this whole fixation on the groceries, this old-fashioned word, nobody ever uses it. What are groceries? You guys caught this thing a couple of days ago. I think it was the day before yesterday. Let's see. Would it have been on Sunday, or was it Saturday when he said groceries, they come in a bag. There's different things in the bag. You're just like, no, they don't always come in a bag. You can carry them with your hands. You can put them in a box. You can buy them when you're wearing socks. And sometimes when you have your pet fox. It's just so effing bizarre. It's like he's literally never walked into a store. I mean, why would you when you're that wealthy, right? But some people that wealthy, they like to do things for themselves. They like to pretend to be normal people. They do. I've known some personally, and they'll do like the baseball cap and the sunglasses. That's how I saw Neil Young at the grocery store when I was a kid. Saw a lot of people like that at the grocery store when I was a kid. Trying to think. Neil Young was one of the best. As if you're not going to recognize him with sunglasses and a baseball cap. I think when I bumped into Bo Bridges' brother, Jeff Bridges, right after he did the new King Kong with Jessica Lange, and he was wearing his Mickey Mouse t-shirt, and I think he had sunglasses and a baseball cap on. But he was so friendly. Oh my goodness. He was so nice to me and my sister and my dad. He was like, do you guys want to go outside and take a photograph? He was 26 years old. He'd only done the one movie. He was so cute. He was so nice. And he put his arm around me and my dad took a picture, and I still have it. If I find it, I'll show it to you. I think it's in a photo album, unless I took it out and it never made its way back in there. But yeah, anyway, what was I saying? What was I talking about? The megalomaniacs, the groceries. Yeah. Yeah, like you'd see Goldie Hawn in the grocery store again at her peak. Lindsay, what was her last name? The one who played the Bionic Woman. You'd see all these people in the grocery store trying to blend in like they were normal. They did their own grocery shopping at the height of their careers. I think it just made them feel human, you know? Or they just had a fascination with groceries. Unbelievable. If he doesn't quit saying that word, it's like Sesame Street. So my point, the thing that I've wanted to say again and again is I think he missed that developmental period. You know, little kids, when they start playing, what at about age 2 or 3, they really start playing with their toys. One of their favorite things, my kids, male and female, was the fake groceries. My daughter demanded the fake food. I was just like, I've spent enough money on food. I spent enough money on toys. Now you want me to buy you fake toy food? But she was obsessed, and every child is. They love the wooden pizzas. They love the empty milk cartons, the tiny fake cereal boxes, the little tiny kitchens, the little tiny grocery carts, playing restaurant. Oh, we got my daughter when she was like 3. We got her it was kind of like a puppet show thing. And you know what she did? She went in there behind the curtain and she did this, and she came out and she said, "Cake." So that's what she thought the puppet show thing was for, was to make cakes. And that's what she did in there. She made cakes. It was pretty cute. She's still obsessed with cake. At 23, we have this joke in our house. If there's no cake, you haven't really had your birthday. So you don't really turn the next age until there's a cake. So we must have a cake for each of us on every birthday in order to validate it and be human. So I told you guys yesterday, I thought Melania was 60 for some reason. I don't know why I thought that, but I was sure of it. That was pretty wild. Sometimes, again, I might have seen it on the internet. A lot of times the internet has people's ages incorrect. Apparently she's 54 and she turns 55 this month. And as you might know, I'm 57. I'll turn 58 this summer. And I thought, even being 3 years older than her, I could not imagine myself with a disgusting old man like she's married to. And remembering, too, that she was 28 when he was 52. And he was pretty gross back then, too. Honestly, he was pretty gross. And she wasn't. She could have had anybody. So disgusting. Yes, I hate cleaning the toilet, but I obviously do it. My husband is good about doing it too. So it's not a chore that we've given to the kids. Like, they don't know what that's like. We keep them pretty busy with dishes, basically. They're always responsible for the dishes all day, every day, and they hate it. But I think it's really important for kids to have chores. So I know that the dishes are daunting and relentless and nonstop. So I don't give them too many others. I mean, I'll ask them to help with taking out the groceries, taking out the garbage once in a while. When I buy groceries in their home, I make them help me bring the groceries into the house, and I make them put them away. And I tell them that the rationale is that they need to know what I bought so they know what they want to eat. Because, yeah, the problem with groceries is there's so many steps to it. It's like going to the store is, to me, kind of a waste of time, but you got to do it. And then you got to bring them in the house, which sometimes I don't. Sometimes I leave some out in the car, the ones that are safe. And then you got to put them all away. And sometimes I don't do that too. Like I said, I'll just wait until people get home if they're not home. And then there they are. There's your groceries. They don't just come in a bag. I mean, if you go to Costco, you put them in boxes, right? And kind of at Aldi's, people do that too. But it's pretty wild that he thinks that, especially because in Washington, D.C., you cannot get a bag at a store. In my experience, when I've gone there to visit a few times in recent years, bags are pretty much illegal, outlawed. I don't know if they just cost 10 cents or how they handle it, but you take your own bags. Like everybody has their own bags. And if you don't have your own bags, you're pretty much out. They're going to just kick you out. So they don't come in bags. You have to put them in the bags. I mean, sure, if you have them delivered to your house from some of the big grocery store chains, Whole Foods, yeah, they'll put them in the bags and deliver them. And in Ohio, the bags are free still. But a lot of states, they're not. I think California and DC, and I would imagine New York and Washington, Oregon, Colorado. I don't know. I don't know about Florida or Texas. Anyway, Anna, have you heard about that poor kid that was knifed at a track meet about a week ago, and he passed away in his twins' arms? It was a high school in Texas, and I think that the boys were fighting over a seat. I'm not sure. It's horrifying. It's absolutely insane. It's so sad. Let's see. Jeff Bridges seems like he would be nice in person. He was absolutely the sweetest, one of the sweetest famous folks I've ever met. A lot of them are nice, or at least they're nice. They were nice to me when I bumped into them. And like I bumped into Tracy Chapman at a restaurant in San Francisco. She was eating dinner with Alice Walker, and my husband and I and our friends were sitting at the table right next to her. And this was in the 90s. So yeah, this was mid 90s when she was huge, absolutely huge. And I wanted so badly to speak with her, but I did not want to impose on her privacy. And so I just wrote a little note on a napkin, and I asked the waitress to give it to her on her way out so that I wouldn't be imposing on her. It just to let her know how much I appreciate her work. So I do like to express that to folks, but I also like to give them their privacy. That was really phenomenal because I thought it was Alice Walker the whole time that was with her, but I didn't want to assume. But it was confirmed when they left that it was indeed Alice Walker. That was wild. We were so close. Like we made all these jokes for years how we could say, that night that we had dinner with Tracy Chapman and Alice Walker. Well, not with them, but they were just a few feet away at the table right next to us. I was at a table right next to Carlos Santana not too long ago, and we had finished our food. We were about to leave. We were like literally getting up when he sat down just a few feet away, right next to us. So we all pretended that we weren't going anywhere. I think we probably ordered dessert or something. It's like, yeah, we're not done yet. And my friend was so sneaky. He took a photograph of him without me even noticing. It was wild. He's really good. Anyhow, let's see what else you're saying here. I remember that phase with my 2 kids and 3 grandkids. It's so cute. And poor Donnie didn't get that phase. And he's, I think, stuck in that toddler phase. And in many ways, he's stuck in the toddler phase, like with the pointing thing and just with teasing people, always making fun of their names and then telling people that they're stupid. Like recently, a reporter asked him a question about the tariffs. I think that was yesterday or the day before. And he said, that's a stupid question. Or he said, that's a dumb question. One of those. It was just like, no, it's actually a really good question. I'm sure you've just been asked it so many times, you're sick of it. And then there was like some little whack job over on the side, you couldn't see her, but you could hear her high-pitched voice. And she was like, Mr. Trump, how was your golf game? And he was like, yeah, I won. You heard that, didn't you? Yeah, yeah, it was good because I won, and winning is good. It's just like, you got to be kidding me. Like that's a question a reporter's going to ask. Like that was a real reporter. Uh-huh, sure. Totally bogus craziness. Whippersnappers, Fred says. I think that's a good chore. It's so hard to get them out of the car and in the house. Well, especially if you do a giant grocery shopping, like, I mean, we have 4 kids. So there were times when I would easily spend $300 at the grocery store. It wouldn't even have to be Costco. I could spend way more than that at Trader Joe's. I could spend that much at just a regular grocery store. And yeah, your cart's full, overflowing, and you've been there for over an hour. And, it's like you shop till you drop, and then having to bring them in the house. It's like, no way. Anna B says, yes, I heard about it. He's a diaper baby. Well, everybody says he wears adult diapers. And again, I like to try to be sensitive about those types of things because my mama wore adult diapers the last 3 years of her life. She was bedridden. She was an invalid. She was not pretending to be a world freaking leader doing all kinds of crazy crap and pointing and talking about old-fashioned groceries. No, she was in a nursing home facility and she was on dialysis. And yeah, she wore diapers 24/7, 365. So, there's nothing wrong with adults that need those, but I've heard from people that are around him that he uses them in public places, like, sitting at a dinner or on a panel, like giving a presentation. And the people around him, like sometimes you can see them, do the, and it's not just like passing gas. I've never been to Trader Joe's. Oh, Trader Joe's is awesome. The food is fantastic. But they were quite like the liberal hippie place. And then I think they went Trump stir fire recently. I don't know. There's nothing bad about it. It helps them not get their clothes wet. Right. But if you're having those kinds of health issues and you're a world leader, I don't know. It should at least be addressed that might be something to consider. But man, he's like completely lost his mind that he didn't really have much of one anyway. He's completely off his rocker. He's obsessing over, I think he's just power drunk, honestly. Obsessing over Gaza again. Like he's going nuts with wanting to like build hotels all over the world. I think he wants to leave a legacy. I think that's maybe what it is, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not inside of his head. I would think that he's one of those people who probably doesn't believe he's ever going to cross over to the other side because he's too wealthy and powerful. That's for poor people. That's for the working class. OMG. So the temper tantrums, man. Oh, and then was it yesterday that he was calling our country a sick patient? And he was like, I'm just giving the country the medicine. You just have to take the medicine. The medicine is the tariffs. He thinks he's a freaking doctor. And no, our country's not sick. It's not perfect, but it was in really good shape before he arrived, before he was sworn in. OMG. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. All of his little flying monkeys, let's call them, like Caroline with a K, and all of them they're just sounding stupider and stupider. And I think they are realizing how stupid they sound. They're having a hard time telling the lies that they tell. It seems that it's really getting worse. It's really increasing that they're saying the most ludicrous things. Like the guy yesterday, I think it was a podcaster, or maybe he was just one of the Fox newscasters, who was saying how, so what, you'll lose some money, it builds character. It's like, yeah, I mean, I say that about when you lose like a basketball game or soccer game. It builds character. And if you can keep coming back, especially if you're like a team that's always losing and you keep coming back, that totally builds character. It's really good for people to have that kind of uh, perseverance and humility. It's really a healthy thing. But we're not just talking about a few people losing money. We're talking about the economic collapse of not just our country, but I almost want to say of the world. It's absolutely insane. And I would imagine that our president gets such a kick out of spreading a rumor like the one about we're going to postpone the tariffs for 90 days, and just seeing what a quick knee-jerk reaction the market has with that. And then even with that, it's still, the Dow Jones, I think, was down about 1,500 yesterday. I mean, I haven't been tracking it because it's just insane. It's just crazy. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I can only imagine people who have lots of money wrapped up in the stock market, how crazy that is. I mean, anybody with a pension, with a retirement or college fund for our kids, all of that's affected because depending on what type of an account it is, it's being used in investments. Other people are investing it. So the price tag is going to be dwindling. I was just saying what Sarah Silverman says. She said it in Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, a diaper baby? Is that what Sarah Silverman said? Because I never saw Wreck-It Ralph. But Sarah Silverman is another one that I had the pleasure of meeting. And I had to tell her how much I loved her in School of Rock. She was such a biatch. She just meant Ralph was a big baby. Yeah, on that one show that I like, I've Had Enough is the name of the show. They are constantly calling these people, I can barely even say it, but I'll just say it, titty babies. They're like, they're just big titty babies. It's hilarious. It's really funny. Oh, but we have been taken advantage of since the start of the U.S. I'm guessing that you're being sarcastic, Cannabis. I don't know. Yes, he is crashing the world. I mean, it's just bizarre. Like, to me, it's just out of the freaking clear blue sky. Like, no, we're a freaking superpower. Nobody's been taking advantage of this country. We've been on top for a very long time. And for my whole lifetime, it's kind of been kicked around that every empire shall fall. So I'm thinking that this might be the fall of our empire. And Anna B says, yes, she was being sarcastic. I still haven't looked at my 401k. Yeah, he is crashing the world. Well, I think that he's doing it for Vladdy. I think he's doing it for his buddy. And he's not just weakening our economy, but the tariffs start a tariff war and quickly translates into terrorism, terrorist attacks, and actual, I don't even like to say the word, the actual thing. And I think that's what he wants. He wants to declare martial law and just, like freaking Elon and his post about warlords. I spoke about that a couple weeks ago, Anna. He put up this post of himself, kind of like one of those Trump Rambo things, those memes, and just like all big and tough. And I think it was probably with one of his SWAT cars, his cyber trucks, and everything's burning down around him. And he was like, ladies, have you thought about what type of warlord the man that you're with will be when the time comes? He was acting like it's happening, like it's on. And the frightening thing, I don't like to say it because I think that we can kind of participate in the evolution of that happening. But I also think it's important to not stick your head in the sand and pretend that that's not what's happening, because I think that's what they're vying for. I think that's what they're hoping for. And then they'll be able to completely dominate not just our country, but the world. And yeah, it's all for his buddy Vladdy, in my opinion. Vladdy owns his hiney, in my opinion. And then all this stuff with the China, with the trade, with Melania's birthday last year was the same day that Angela Chow drowned, trapped in a Tesla on her husband's business's property. And yeah, it was friends from Harvard. It was friends from college that she had this gathering. So they were having dinner, they were having drinks, and it was like 11:30. And instead of walking to the guest house that she was going to go to sleep at on this property, she got into her car and tried to do a 3-point turn, ended up in this pond that was about 12 feet deep. I take it. I've done a lot more reading. Oh, I wanted to share one of the articles with you guys too. Let's see where we're at. We're at 42 minutes. One sec. Oh, and I have it right here. What do you know? Let's see what Anna Bees was saying. Well, if my man was still alive, he would protect me and our family with everything he had. He was 6'4.5 inches tall and was all muscle. I'm so sorry. When did he pass, Anna Bees? Because aren't you about the same age as me? I am so sorry. But yeah, I like tall guys too. That's hot. Okay, I'm going to read this New York Post article. It's from March 9th of last year. So Angela Chow had the incident in the Tesla in February. So this was written a month later. Mitch McConnell's billionaire sister-in-law, Angela Chow, and remember, she was a shipping magnet. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Yes, tall guys are hot. Oh, he died 13 years ago. Cancer or car accident or heart attack, if you want to share. And yeah, I know Fred's wife passed a while back too. So yeah, the Chinese shipping industry that has so much to do with the superpowers of the world, and also the